Today we'll start the first episode on Surah Al-Anaam. And before we begin with the first verse, we'll give a sort of introduction to this surah. This surah is Makki, except for 9 verses which are considered Madani. They were revealed in Medina. These verses are Numbers 20, 23, 91, 93, 114, 141, 151, 152, and 153. All right, the number of verses in the surah is 165 verses, and it is considered one of the long surahs. Its order in the Mushaf is 6. However, it was revealed after Surah Al-Hijr, and the order of Surah Al-Hijr is 15. How? I don't know. I mean, this is a point that also needs to be questioned, because its order in Revelation is after Al-Hijr, but its order in the Mushaf is before Al-Hijr. Just so you know anyway. The important thing is that Al-Qurtubi says the surah was revealed at night all at once. And we'll get into this and find that what Al-Qurtubi said isn't true. It wasn't revealed all at once or anything like that. Alright, as for its topics or the subjects it covers, they are divinity, revelation, and resurrection. These are the topics that Surah Al-Anaam will focus on. In what way? In general, the word He appears in the surah about 38 times. References to God using the word He appear 38 times, and the word Say appears 42 times. God tells the Prophet Muhammad to say every time, say 42 times. So why is it called Al-Anaam? Because the people of Quraysh extensively utilized their livestock for sustenance, including food and drink, as well as for essential transportation and as a primary source of their wealth, you know. It was the real value. It wasn't gold, it wasn't money, none of that stuff. Even to the point that they used it for marriage proposals. I mean, livestock was the dowry. The dowry would be a certain number of camels, a certain number of she-camels, things like that, which was very common. So they would say, we can worship our Lord. Yes, we worship Allah, that's fine. But livestock was the backbone of our lives. We could do whatever we wanted with it without anyone interfering. Like, don't come and tell me, give me the new one, or that God says such and such about livestock. Stay away from that area and talk about something else. So the surah was revealed. It was revealed under the name Al-Anaam, the cattle. All right, that's clear. So let's start from the first verse. The first verse says, Praise be to God, who created the heavens and the earth and made darkness and light. Yet those who disbelieve set up equals to their Lord. What does that mean? There are 2 interpretations here. The first opinion says that God is praising himself. He himself is praising himself. He says, Praise be to God. Praise belongs to him. You get it? Why? Because he created the heavens and the earth. He praises himself because he created the heavens and the earth and perfected their creation. That's the main point of the verse, of course. And he also created night and day. All right, the second opinion says no. It says that he commanded the believers in him to praise him because he created the heavens and the earth and created night and day. So those were the 2 perspectives. And then what? God himself expresses amazement. God is amazed. Keep in mind, amazement is not applicable to God, because humans are amazed due to their ignorance and think, I don't know how you did that. Why? Because I don't know, because I am ignorant. So amazement cannot be attributed to God. But that's what the jurist says, and I'll tell you his name in a moment. The jurist says that God is amazed at the disbelievers who equate him with others. For example, they would say, who created this world? The idols, for instance. So God is amazed and says, how, my child? I am the one who created the idols, and they should be praising me. I am the creator. Sorry, I am the one who created the heavens and the earth, and they should be praising me. Yet they equate me with others. They compare. They make equal. Right? Then those who disbelieve set up equals to their Lord, meaning they equate God with what? The idols. And they say that the idols are the ones who created the heavens and the earth and who created the night. And the day, what was it? That's what the scholar said. So where did this statement come from? What I just said is mentioned in Majma al-Bayan in the Quranic commentary by Al-Tabarsi. The question's here, if God is the one speaking, if he is the one saying these words, then why does he use third-person pronouns in the verse? I mean, if he says, for example, created and made, created, that means someone is talking about him, and made, that means someone is talking about him. The second question, does God praise himself? I mean, is he saying praise, or even commanding humans to praise him? The third question, which I've brought up before, does God express amazement at those who equate him with idols? Didn't he know that they equate him with idols, so why would he be amazed? Verse number 2. He is the one who created you from clay, then decreed a term and a specified term with him. Then you still doubt. Why do you have doubts? Okay, so what's the meaning here? What's the point? Here, in the story, God sent Gabriel and told him, "Go bring me some soil from the earth." So Gabriel did as he was told and went to get some soil from the earth, just a bit of dirt. The important part is the earth spoke to him. The earth spoke and said, "O Gabriel, I seek refuge in God from you taking anything from me." So he turned back and went to God. He said, "O Lord," she sought refuge in you. She said, "I seek refuge in God, O Gabriel, from you taking any soil from me." So he left without taking anything. God said to him, "All right, step aside," and then sent someone else. He sent Michael. He told him, "Go bring me some soil from the earth." So our man Michael also went to the earth, wanting to take some soil from it. But she said to him, "I seek refuge in God from you taking anything from me." So he turned back and returned to his Lord. He said, "O Lord, she sought refuge in you from me taking anything from her, or diminishing her, that is, taking soil from her and lessening her." God said to him, "Step aside." Who did he send next? The third angel he sent Azrael. He told him, "Go bring me some soil from the earth." Our man Azrael went to the earth to get some soil from it. So she said to him, "I seek refuge, the earth." She spoke a third time, "I seek refuge in God from you taking anything from me." So he said to her, "And I seek refuge in God from disobeying his command." I will not disobey his command, but he took it. He told her, "I seek refuge in God from disobeying God's command." Yet he still took soil. He diminished her. I don't know how he could say to her, "I seek refuge in God from disobeying his command." But you did disobey. You took it. You know what I mean? Anyway, the important thing is that he took some soil and returned to God. So he mixed the soil together, then brought water, salt, and myrrh, added them, and kneaded the soil. So when you add water, myrrh, and salt to the soil and knead it, it turns into clay, you see? It changes from soil to clay. Exactly, so when he kneaded them, when he mixed the soil together. Yeah, the soil. The bits of soil he brought were different colors. There was black soil and red soil. And if you go to the mountains, you'll find this. I've seen it myself in certain places in Egypt. The mountain soil is different colors. You see? Anyway, it's clear that he took some soil from those places. So when he mixed the soil together, the colors of people became different. That's how you got black, yellow, white, and all those colors. And then, when water, salt, and bitterness were added, people's characters became different too. You might find someone whose character is a bit rough because there's a bit more bitterness in him. And someone else has a nicer character because, maybe he has a bit more water in him and so on. You get the idea. Anyway, so God said to Azrael, "Look, Gabriel and Michael showed mercy to the earth, but you didn't. So, just so you know, I will place the souls of my creations in this clay that you have kneaded. The soil that you mixed together, added water, salt, and bitterness to, and kneaded. I will breathe from my spirit into it, and I will place the souls of my creations in this clay that you kneaded with your own hands. I hope the picture is clear and that I'm able to convey what happened properly. And then, after he told him, I will breathe the soul of my creations into this clay that you kneaded with your hands. He told him, I will decide. I will set a term for these souls that I will breathe into this clay. I will assign each of them a very first term, right from their birth, and this will be their initial designation. Sorry, until death. All right, and the second term is from death until resurrection. The question again, who is it that speaks about God in the third person to the believers in the present tense in the third verse? It is God. Keep in mind, and that's also fine. He is Allah in the heavens and on the earth. He knows your secrets and your public deeds, and he knows what you earn. The meaning, there are different opinions. Some people said, He is Allah, the one to be worshipped. He is Allah in the heavens and on the earth. They said it means He is the one worshipped in heaven and earth. And others said, some said He manages affairs in the heavens and earth. Others said He knows your secrets and public deeds in the heavens and earth. So, whether He is the one to be worshipped, the manager, or the all-knowing, there's no disagreement. Now, who is saying all this? The one saying this is Al-Qurtubi in his book, Al-Jami li Akam al-Quran. That's also perfectly fine. Same thing, same logic. The question is, who is the one shifting from speaking about God in the third person to addressing the believers directly? And no sign comes to them from the signs of their Lord except that they turn away from it. All right, very good. The meaning. Let's start with the first meaning. The meaning is that whenever the people of Mecca are given a sign, like, for example, the eclipse of the sun or the splitting of the moon, every time this happens, they turn away from it and deny it. There is never a sign from God's signs that comes to them except that they deny it and reject it. That's very good here as well. First, let's mention the source. The source is Farzabadi's Quranic commentary. Very good. The question is, who is the one speaking about the people of Mecca this time in the third person? Someone is talking about them, saying, and nothing comes to them. This time it's not what comes to you, but what comes to them. Sorry. And nothing comes to them of a sign from the signs of their Lord. And no sign comes to them from the signs of their Lord. So the speech is about them in the third person. So who is it that's talking about them? Because he even says, what is it? Except that they turn away from it. So who is the one speaking about the people of Mecca in the third person in the verse? That was a question. All right, honestly. And then there's another question. If they have turned away from the signs and keep that in mind and have denied them in the first place, then how do the verses describe them as their Lord? How is it that they deny the signs and deny the Lord of the signs, and yet you tell me, and nothing comes to them of the signs of their Lord? They don't even acknowledge that He is their Lord, you see. That's the point. That's what really caught my attention. 5. So they denied the truth when it came to them, but soon will come to them the news of what they used to mock. All right, what does this mean here? That the people of Mecca didn't just deny the signs of God, like the eclipse of the sun and the splitting of the moon, and all of that. No, they actually denied the verses of the Quran or denied the Quran itself, and they also denied the Prophet Muhammad. So what's the point here? All right, the meaning continues, saying that they will come to realize that what they used to mock is not something to be mocked when God's punishment befalls them. All right, who is the one explaining this meaning? It's from Fath al-Qadir by al-Shawkani. Very good. The question here is also, who is speaking about the people of Mecca in the third person? Is it God? 6. Did they not see how many generations we destroyed before them? We had established them on earth in a way that we have not established you. And we sent the sky upon them with abundant rain, and made rivers flow beneath them. So we destroyed them for their sins, and raised up after them other generations. And pay attention, what does the meaning indicate? Who is being talked about here? About the people of Mecca. The people of Mecca didn't see the peoples, the generations. Generation here means a people. The people of Mecca didn't see the peoples that we destroyed before them. This is what the verse is asking. Have they not seen how many generations we destroyed before them? People whom we had established on earth with power greater than that of the people of Mecca, yet we still destroyed them? Do you get it? What was that about? Exactly, so the meaning is, as the scholar says, they haven't seen it in plain everyday language. They haven't seen the peoples that we destroyed before them, even though we had given them more power on earth than the people of Mecca themselves. You get it? Like who? Like AD, the mud, and Hud, you know? We destroyed all those peoples. That's what God is saying, all right? So the point is, he's saying that these three peoples, Hud, AD, and the mud, we sent them rain so they could plant crops and build their homes. And all these things were along the riverbanks. And we made water or rivers flow beneath their houses or beneath their dwellings. You get it? But they denied God's blessings, so we destroyed them, even though they were much stronger than the people of Mecca. Actually, the scholar who explained this meaning here is Al-Wasit in the interpretation of the Quran by Sheikh Muhammad Said Tantawi. Very good. The important thing here, or the questions here, are who are the other people whom God brought after the destruction of AD, the mud, and Hud? Didn't any of the scholars say who these people were? He just says, we brought other peoples. And that's it, basically. The important thing here, pay attention now to the shift that's happening. What were we saying before in the previous verse? From talking about God in the third person to addressing the believers in the present tense. But here now, he is speaking about himself in the present tense. Listen to what he says. Let me read you the verse. Did they not see how many generations God destroyed before them, whom we had established? God, not only established them, you see, nor did we just destroy them. No, we destroyed them and established them. God is speaking about himself in the present tense. All right, pay attention. We established them on earth in ways we did not establish you. God, yes, in ways we did not establish you, and not just that. And God sent, and God made the rivers, so God destroyed them, and God created. There was a switch. The address completely changed from talking about God in the third person to the believers in the present tense. To God speaking about himself in the present tense, in all those pronouns I mentioned to you. You see? We destroyed, we established them. We established, we sent, we made. So we destroyed them and we created. 7 present tense pronouns in a single verse. Okay. What is the wisdom in someone talking about God in the 3 previous verses in the third person? Then in verse 6, he talks about himself using the present tense pronoun 7 times in one complete verse. 7. Verse number 7. Even if we had sent down to you a book on parchment and they touched it. Pay attention, it says, and if we had sent down, again, not if he had sent down, but if we had sent down, we meaning God. And if we had sent down to you a book on parchment and they touched it with their own hands, those who disbelieved would still say, this is nothing but obvious magic. All right, the reason for revelation. Pay attention to these 3 names. The reason for the revelation of this verse is that it was revealed about Al-Nader ibn al-Harith, Abdullah ibn Abi Umayyah, and Nawfal ibn Khuwaylid. All right, let me repeat the 3 names for you again. Is that clear now? They said to him, O Muhammad, we do not believe you. We do not believe you, nor do we believe in you. Are you paying attention? We don't believe that you're a prophet, nor do we believe in your message or in the Quran. You only brought it so you could bring us a book from God, a book that we could actually hold in our hands, you know? And with it, for angels to testify that you are a prophet, and that this book is from God. A book and 4 angels. those three people said these words. The verse appeared. It shone immediately when they challenged him. He responded right away. Is that clear? He said to them, even if we sent down to you a book in parchment, meaning a tangible paper book, not a verse revealed. You see that? No. Even if it was written in a book, they'd say it's magic. There's no hope for them. All right, are you following? So that was the reason for the revelation. The meaning I just mentioned now is that even if we sent down to you a tangible book, a book meaning something written that they could hold in their hands and flip through its pages, they'd still say it's obvious magic. Qurtubi says that it was revealed all at once at night. How, man? There are events happening one after another that we're going through. How could it all come down at once, connected to what's happening on earth? How could it be revealed all at once? But anyway, in any case, who is it that's saying what I just said? That the reason for the revelation is that those three challenged him, so he responded with the verse. And the meaning I just mentioned now is from Ma'alim al-Tanzil by al-Baghawi. It's very good. So the important thing here really is a significant point, that God already knows in advance what their reaction would be if a book were sent down to them on parchment and they touched it. They would say such and such. He already has this information. Pay attention, don't be surprised, just like in the first verse. How could they equate him with idols that he creates while the idols do not create? Don't be surprised. No, here he knows, pay attention here. He said, even if we sent down to you a tangible book, they would say about it, this is right. So he already knows what they will say in advance because God's knowledge is absolute. Completely keep that in mind. So here the pronoun is different. God is speaking about himself in the present tense. And when he says, if we sent down, how is he speaking then? Pay attention. Stay alert to what's being said. See, if we sent down, we, meaning God, is speaking about himself in the present tense to the prophet. The address is to the prophet. Again, in the present tense pronoun, to you, not to him. Not to Muhammad, to him. So it's not in the third person. If we, God sent down to you, you Muhammad, both are in the present tense pronoun. Keep that in mind. God is speaking about himself in the present tense, and to the prophet also in the present tense. So what does the verse say again? It says, if we, God sent down to you, you Muhammad, both are in the present tense pronoun. Very good. Hey, and they said, all right, now pay attention. Here we go. All right. And they said refers to those three, the three we mentioned. Al-Harith, Abdullah, and the other one. What's the name of that third guy? Honestly, I forget their names. Oh, Nawfal ibn Khuwaylid, that's right. And they said, why hasn't an angel been sent down to him? Why here means if only. You get it, right? Why hasn't an angel been sent down? And if we had sent down an angel, God is responding to what they're saying. They insist an angel must be sent so they can believe. And just so you know, I don't mean king, as in a ruler, I mean angel. And they said, why hasn't an angel been sent down to him? If an angel doesn't come down from the sky to him, we're not going to believe. And we won't acknowledge his message. All right, now God responds and says, listen to this. If we had sent down an angel, the matter would have been settled, and they would not be given any more time. What does that mean? All right. Those three, Al-Nader, Abdullah, and Nawfal, openly attacked the prophet's prophethood. They said, he's a liar and not a messenger. And all of that, you get what I mean? And they said that unless an angel comes down from the sky and we see him with our own eyes, and he tells us that Muhammad is a prophet, we won't believe. Very well. Of course, the verse says, or God says, that this is impossible. Why is it impossible to send an angel down to them? Because an angel, by nature, radiates an extremely intense light. You see, if an angel were to descend upon them in his true form, they wouldn't be able to see him and they would perish instantly. They would be destroyed, obliterated, and vaporized if an angel descended upon them from the heavens. The scholar also says that even the prophets themselves did not see the angels directly with their own eyes. The proof is that Gabriel used to come to the prophet in the form of Dahya al-Kalbi. Are you following me so far? Who is it that says the meaning I just mentioned? So they insist in the verse we're discussing, verse 8. Isn't that right? Yes, verse 8. They say, if an angel doesn't come down to him, we won't believe him. So it was said to them, if we were to send down an angel as you are demanding, you would be vaporized by the light. The radiance of the angel would make you vanish. You see, that's the whole story of the verse. Who is saying this? Irshad al-Aql al-Salim ila al-Kitab al-Karim by Abu al-Suyudi. Very good. Here God is speaking about himself in the present tense. We have sent down, just like we. What is it? What's the reason? And as we said, pay attention, it's exactly like that. And they said, why has an angel not been sent down to him? Pause here. And if we had sent down, here God is speaking in the present tense, using the present pronoun exactly. Honestly, I have a comment here, but what I'm about to say is my own responsibility. The jurist has nothing to do with it. Didn't we mention the jurist's name? Irshad al-Aql al-Salim ila al-Kitab al-Karim by Abu al-Suyudi. The question here is, does God need the angels in order to send them in a luminous form or not? God is not in need of anyone in the first place, period. So here is the real solution. And I've said this many times before, but I try to repeat it for the sake of those who haven't seen the previous videos so they can hear this point. The solution lies in studying Jalal al-Din al-Suyudi's perspective, in which he sees the Quran as a revelation from God and a statement from the Prophet according to the events of his time, place, and environment. In fact, the Quran itself supports this idea and says that the Quran is the word of a noble messenger. That's in Surah Al-Takwir, verse 19. That is, the Quran is the word of a noble messenger. Like, we're almost done now. And if we had made him an angel, we would have made him a man, and we would have confused them just as they confuse others. They want an angel. If we sent them an angel, he would come in the form of a man. So what do you think about that? And we would confuse them just like they used to confuse their own common people. You see, they used to tell their people that Prophet Muhammad wasn't a prophet. All right, we're going to do the same thing with them. We're going to send them just an ordinary person. I mean, a normal human being, but in reality, he's an angel. We would confuse them just as they confuse others. So that was the point, basically, that was the verse. The meaning is, if God had sent an angel with the prophet or to the prophet to testify to his prophethood, meaning the angel would say, yes, this is a prophet, but God would send him in the form of a man, and it would confuse them, making them think he's just a man. You see, he would tell them, this is the angel sent by God. You get it. So the leaders of the Jews would always do this with the common people, telling them things like, they would confuse them or lie to them and say, Muhammad is not a prophet. Muhammad is just an ordinary man like you. Meanwhile, Prophet Muhammad is God's prophet, and if God sent an angel, he would do the same thing. He would send someone who looks completely ordinary, even though he is actually an angel. Basically, he would send someone in human form. Just imagine that. Who is saying this? Al-Tibyan, the comprehensive book of Quranic sciences, for clarification. Honestly, that's the truth. The question here is, why does God put himself on the same level as the polytheists when it comes to deception and trickery? I mean, the leaders of the Jews deceive and mislead the common Jews and tell them that Muhammad is just a man. So what does God himself say? What is he saying? This is even in the middle of the verse. Even if we had made him an angel, that is, if we had sent to them the angel they insist on to testify to the prophethood of the Prophet Muhammad, we would have sent him away in the form of a man. You know, it's not just that. He says this frankly, and we will deceive them as they deceive others. 10. This is the last one. Messengers before you were mocked, but those who mocked them were overtaken by that at which they mocked. The meaning here is that the verse alleviates the suffering and mockery the prophet was experiencing from his people. And he informed him that he had informed him of what had happened to those who mocked the prophets before him. And it threatens those who mocked him and reassures him. In other words, it gives him reassurance so that he doesn't care about them or pay them any attention at all, because their end is punishment and torment. This was from the source Al-Bar al-Muhit by Abu Hayyan. And the question here is, who are the messengers who were mocked before the prophet? And what befell those who mocked them? See you next Friday. And thank you so much for your patience.